Motion carries. Thank you. Appreciate that. Approval of minutes, we do not have any. Or if we do, I didn't get them
I sent them, but we put them on the agenda next
15th.
week. Yeah.
for the 15th.
Okay,
Yeah. Trying not to bog this agenda
problem.
down anymore
it's
if
fine, I just
necessary.
saw it on my
Yeah.
list.
Should have deleted that, I'm sorry. Commissioner items. Commissioner Prince, would you like to begin, sir?
Sure. Happy New Year, everybody. I attended on Friday the 3rd, I attended the annual operating plan
Oh,
of
good.
the fire department. Joe
Lobiondo?
thank you, led that, and it was very interesting. Plan's
Good.
basically saying a few modifications, nothing terrible. Yesterday, I attended the ambulance EMS committee. Considering that Heart of the Rockies has stated multiple times that they're not in the ambulance business, nor do they want to be in the ambulance business, the committee felt that it would probably make sense to go ahead and form a separate taxing district for the EMS. They're gonna bring-
Countywide or?
Countywide, yeah. It will not be a district, it'll be for the county, but EMS will do their own thing. I thought that probably made sense, they would break out, because I mentioned to them that we as commissioners had concerns, and that we just signed in the last meeting, the mill levies, and we'd much prefer to see broken out, how much is hospital and how much is EMS. And they agreed that that's problematic. And now with the change with Heart of the Rockies, they felt that this would be an opportune time to go ahead and bifurcate the EMS from the hospital district and have its own standalone. The discussion was, of course, the entire county, not just the district that the hospital has right now. So that's just discussion. They're gonna bring it to their board on the 30th of January this month and see what their board feels, if that's something that they would entertain. So I was mostly just listening and talking, to what they had to say.
So how's that gonna play in with our meeting down in Wetmore?
Here's what was decided at the meeting. The meeting in Wetmore was going to be within the next week or two. They, and I part of it, we, thought it would be best to go ahead and put this off until the beginning of February so that we could go down to Wetmore and say, we're working on a plan to segregate EMS from the hospital district. Rather than say, we're going to ask to do this, we thought it would make more sense to go ahead and go in with an actual plan, as opposed to, well, here are our options, that type of thing. So the discussion was to postpone that meeting until the beginning of February, since their meeting is the last day of January, or second last day.
Postpone which meeting?
The Wetmore
Oh, okay. Until
meeting to
February.
discuss, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I
with
think
ambulance
that'd probably be a better idea, because it sounds like they're coming down the right path and need some time to work it through.
Right, but the real key is to have the hospital board itself say, we sanction this, we agree with you, go do what you need to do to form your own hospital district. Excuse me, EMS district, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. So they're
So-
planning on discussing that at their next meeting.
And that would be a separate district under whose
It
purview?
would be a separate special district if it's gonna have its own taxing authority.
That's exactly correct.
Or it could be the way it was set up originally under the commissioners as a different budget item that we would also raise the
Certainly-
mill levy.
certainly a
I mean,
discussion
we need to
item.
make sure we look at the options, I guess. Yeah, or the hospital district could take it on too if they wanted to.
Hospital district does not want it.
Yeah. But we're just being open-minded about it here, trying to.
Yeah.
So is this a possible solution in addition to hiring AMR? Is AMR's Is that discussion still on the table, or is that getting shuffled down?
Somebody would have
It's
to be
definitely
hired.
shuffled down. I am not pressing AMR at this point. It's quite evident that the people I'm dealing with are not in favor of AMR. However, I said to them that is an option that the commissioners would like to look at.
Okay.
You know, and kind of the plan is, like I've mentioned before, let's get 2020 during 2020, we could work with AMR. But let's get a plan in place for ambulances to cover the entire district in an emergency. And then, once we have a plan in place, then we can open the discussion on, is AMR a better choice or not?
Yeah. And
And
that
it
would have to
probably-
be done in time for the election if we're gonna go
Right,
after.
that's gonna be in
it.
November.
Right,
That's
okay.
why we wanna get the board to say, yes, you can separate, and then the question would be, separate it from the current organization or separate with AMR running it?
So some organization would have to hire somebody to run an ambulance. It could be the crew, the organization currently doing it under some other
Well,
authority.
the special district would have its own board and would have its own regulations. It
Well-
would be totally set. It'd be like the fire
Yeah.
department. It's a totally standalone.
Sure, I understand if
organization.
it were a special district. If it's not, if it were under the hospital still district, or if it was under the commissioners, the county, somebody still has to hire a ambulance, even if it's a
This
special
ambulance
district.
service, yeah.
And that service, the way you're telling us, could also be the same service we have today under a different authority.
Correct.
Or through the hospital
could be
district if they
AMR.
took it, or it could be AMR, or it
Right.
could be competed with somebody.
Right. We don't have any answers to that. The real question at the moment is, does it make sense to break off EMS from the hospital, since the Heart of the Rockies has made it very clear they are not in the ambulance business, nor do they want to be.
Right.
And the issue would be, if they didn't do that, then the mill levy would still go to the hospital district. And somehow that would then get back to EMS. It's very problematic, the way it's set up. So I suggested this is the perfect time to be a special district and have the taxes come directly to you, have your own board of directors, have your own accounting department, have your own budget, and run it yourself. Or the commissioners do it. So, I mean,
Or
these are
we
just.
hire
We hire AMR. AMR,
Sure, could hire anybody.
I'll give you my personal opinion, and I know it's televised live. My personal opinion is AMR is the right way to go. They have higher skilled individuals on the ambulances. I don't know if they're higher skilled, they're higher level educated, okay? Now, that doesn't mean someone who's a lower end, who's been doing it for 20 years and not as good as the best one, you know what I'm saying? So they always have a better person on the ambulance. They also have ambulances closer to the eastern and maybe the western portions of our county, southern portions of our county. They potentially have ambulances closer than we could if they ran out of our barn. So there's a lot of reasons why I think it makes sense to go to AMR. The other thing is, the 3 mil that currently goes to EMS, it's 3 mil from the public and a $500,000 that the hospital district pays. That's gonna go, the $500,000's gonna go away when Heart of the Rockies says, we're not gonna give you any money, we got our own problems. They're a for-profit organization. So the question's really gonna be, what is gonna be the best for the county? And ultimately, my heart tells me AMR's the right way to go. But considering the history of what's going on, I think they have an opportunity to do this, phase it in. So I think as soon as we have some resolution on what are we gonna do with separating, then we can start in earnest the AMR discussion. But I will tell you, from discussions I've had with them, the people that I sat at the table with yesterday are opposed to AMR. And they have lots of reasons.
Yeah, they may be
I don't
bad
know if
baggy
they're
from the
valid or
past
not,
or
but they
whatever.
have lots of reasons.
I don't think
what
it
they would-
matters. I think what
Yeah.
matters is going forward and what's the right thing to do.
Here's what matters. What matters is what is the best service we
Right,
can
that's
provide
exactly
to our
right.
constituency at the lowest price.
No.
That's what matters. And if someone's gonna have their feelings hurt, I'm very sorry. It's like terminating an employee who doesn't do a good job. You just have to make a decision sometimes.
Yeah, I just wonder if moving forward with this whole special tax district thing is gonna muddy the waters terribly if we're gonna still consider AMR as a possibility. Obviously, if that tax district is formed, then there's a good chance that it will operate just like the fire department. Commissioners will have nothing to say about
Right,
it.
that's why.
So that's a
good
concern
idea.
for me.
But that's something we don't need to talk about now, because that's the point of the next meeting after the hospital board gets their decision made formally.
Right. I feel it's appropriate to break off since Heart of the Rockies doesn't want them.
Well, that's the problem.
It's
But how you establish
very
it
muddy
after
where
it
the money's
breaks off
coming
is
from and
the
how it's
issue.
going. The budget is convoluted because it's mixed in with the hospital. It's not a very clean
I agree.
operation now. Now, if we feel, the BOCC feels that this is a BOCC thing, well, then we probably ought to step in and say, we're taking this over and we ought to handle it. And that's a discussion we ought to have. And if that's the case, let's move forward with that. I don't have a problem. Here's what I care about. I care about getting an ambulance when someone dials 911 anywhere in the county and getting the best value for our constituency. Other than that, I don't care how we do it.
Yeah, best value doesn't mean cheapest price. It just means.
No,
Not
not
necessarily the cheap.
necessarily.
I'm not going with the cheapest, I'm going with
Well,
the
you
best.
said it a minute ago.
Best
but
value.
It was accidental.
Best value.
Yeah, and I guess if I had to say what is my biggest concern, and that is to have the highest level of competency on those ambulances when they run.
Right.
That was the first thing I said, why I meant it. I said to you, I'm not heading around the bush. I told you, I'm in favor of AMR, and that is the main reason, a higher level of competency on the ambulance.
So special districts, council commissioners set those up, they have to approve those or not?
The commissioners have to approve them, but they really don't take the initiative to set them up.
Right.
That's done separately, and that would really require somebody hiring an attorney to do it. It's beyond my expertise to do all that, but, yeah, it would have to go through, and then it's gotta go to the voters, and, I mean, there's a lot of hoops to jump through there, frankly. I mean, just my 2 cents worth real quick is that it would be better, I think, for EMS to be a department, just
Right.
like Road and Bridge or something else, where you
They've already
have the
set it.
authority to control it. And, you know, then all you have to do is have, in November.
Establish a
you-
mill levy.
Yeah, establish a mill levy for the whole county. You know, it's 3% now, and if you want 3% for the whole county, that's easy to do.
Right.
And then you control it, and you
And that, in
can
effect, is a
contract with
separate-
AMR, you can hire the ones that are already here, you're in charge of it.
And that goes to the voters, the mill levy.
Yeah, the mill levy would go to the voters.
All right.
Because we're increasing the county budget, decreasing the
So,
hospital budget.
considering the election is in November, which sounds like a long time away.
Pretty
It's
close.
not. It's not. So I would think we, the three of us, need to sit down and determine how do we want to handle this. I am absolutely not opposed to what Clint just suggested. I have no issue with that whatsoever. Obviously, the hospital district at the moment and the EMS will not feel that that's appropriate, I suspect.
When is the hospital meeting? Because
January 30th.
I don't want to do it before that meeting.
Right, I don't want to do anything. I mean.
Then we can get together after we
Well-
get the data from them. Let's see what we got to operate.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it certainly makes sense, and I think the statutes that we looked at give each of the organizations, either the hospital district and the BOCC, equal rights to do
Right, we can
this.
decide to do it or not.
So maybe, I mean, right now is the perfect time to do something because the Heart of the Rockies integration into our system, and they don't want any part of it. So now is the right time to do something. Now, I mean, this November, the election when it comes up.
When's the merger scheduled, do you know, with
It's
Hard Rock?
they haven't even signed it yet, believe it or not. I didn't realize that. Yesterday I learned that. It's a slow integration. They're not going to replace Ms. Drew. They're not gonna have an executive director. They might hire a lower level manager. This is discussions that was said yesterday.
That's something that has to be, we'll probably all ought to go to those meetings, because I kind of get upset a little bit about an organization outside the county telling us they don't want to do something for the county.
That is
As a merged, you know, you see what I'm saying? That comes across that
Bill,
way.
you are 100% correct, and that is the only reason we're in the middle of this.
I know it, and that's why.
If they would have said, you know, we're gonna just send an ambulance down there.
All of a
we'll
sudden,
worry
we're
about it,"
merging with an
we would've
organization that
got-
doesn't want to support the county.
I mean, in my whole time as a commissioner, until they said, we're not gonna send an ambulance to our constituency, they were off my radar.
Yeah, I
Handle your
didn't
business.
even cross me
Right.
until it came up, after it was too late.
But when they said they weren't gonna do, that's when this all occurred. So you're 100% correct.
So
And it's at the
who's
right
gonna
time.
make the final decision about whether a tax district's formed or not, in your opinion?
I think the suggestion is to go to the hospital district and say, we would like to separate and form our own special task district. And that's
Or
where we
we
left
take
it.
it. Don't come to the conclusion yet.
But
Well-
that's the conclusion as of yesterday, right?
That's what they want.
They wanna go to their hospital, Custer County Hospital District, and say, we want to break off and form our own special task district. Are you okay with that?
That's okay.
And that's as
Leave
far as
it
it
at
went.
that, and then,
But if the district, hospital district or the clinic says yes, is that the final word on it? Because if it is, then we're done, we're out of it.
I don't think
No,
there's any
we're
final
not,
word on
because
anything.
Who
We
does
have-
have the
they're
final
not,
word?
they're not
That's my
agreeing to
point.
a special district, Tom. They don't have
And
the
this is a
authority to set
legal
up a
question,
special
who has
district.
the rights? I
We
mean,
do.
Well, so does the clinic.
But
No.
if you look at the two statutes that Clint found, and you read them both, except for a word or two, Clint, please help me, I believe it says both of us have.
We have the right to, and they are not wanting to do it, so that leaves it up to us to make a decision. Do we want to do it, or do we want to set up a special district and let somebody else manage it?
And I will not argue
And
with that.
that's a
one
decision that
iota.
has to be done later.
And that's why I suggested we ought to get our act together
Yeah.
and decide what we wanna do.
After we see that.
Do
But
you
if
wanna do
it's-
it before or
But if
after?
it's after, and the clinic
Well,
says,
then
yeah, I'll
we-
go
then
set
we-
up a tax district,
No, they say you go off and somebody, either you take it county or set up a special tax district.
well, that's not the conversation.
Well,
That's the problem.
Right, the conversation is very simple. They wanna go and ask if they can.
They
break
want
off
out.
and form
they want to unload it.
They're right, they wanna do their own thing.
So they'll make a decision to unload it. Then we take on the next
We
step.
feel we need to do
We'll
something
do it or we'll get a
to
special.
make sure
district.
that we're in there. We ought to do this before their meeting. and
what I
say,
think.
Here's how we're going, here's what the
You're assuming
BOCC
they're going
stance
to
is.
do it though.
Well,
May
Sure
I
they
ask
will.
just a quick question?
go ahead.
When you say they, are you talking about saying to Beth Archuleta, go form your own deal? Or, I just,
Okay,
the pronouns are confusing for me,
It's
I'm
a very
sorry.
fair question. When I say they, I'm lumping together the hospital district and the EMS. And the people I met with yesterday were Tom Shepard, he's a board member, Jenny Candelera, she's a board member, Beth was there, and an EMS man, I forgot his name, he's a little bit elderly with blonde hair, a very nice guy, I'm sorry, I slipped his name. So, I kept saying to them, they and us, and what I was saying is, they, hospital district EMS is one circle, BOCC, and I said the BOCC is not, you know,
We haven't made
I
up
didn't
our
go
mind
there
yet.
to approve what they wanted to do. I went there and discussed with them Wetmore. That's all I really care about at this point.
Well, in all due respect to our agenda this morning, I'd like to curb this conversation.
I agree with that.
I would also like to suggest we schedule a workshop on January 15th where we can continue this very discussion.
I
Can
cannot
I,
pick a different day.
Okay, 15th doesn't work.
What?
I only said that because I know
Kelly's
we're in
got a
town.
Yeah,
question.
Yeah, I had a previous appointment set on that day, and then we moved
Kelly's
the
got a
BOCC
question
to that
before
day, and I'm
we
fine
kick
with that.
I think she does.
14th,
Wait a minute.
16th,
Do you want to talk about this first?
that's,
can I throw my 2 cents worth in here? And I'll have to do some research, but all the other special district files that I have, when they started that special district, the people, they had to get a petition.
Correct, they know that.
And they know that, so they did a petition, and they came to the commissioners, and they went to the court, then it went on the ballot.
Correct,
So it's kind of a long process too.
correct.
That's
That's
something we
why
can
they're
talk about
anxious,
in our meeting.
and that's why they're anxious to get it done at
Okay.
their next meeting. I didn't tell them, I think this is a wonderful idea. I said it makes sense for you to break off, Because if you have a parent organization that doesn't want you, go do your own thing. I said to them, we, the BOCC,
Okay.
do not like signing
I'm
the
good
levy.
with meeting
How about
this.
Monday the 13th? Would that
I'm
work?
good for that.
I have a bit, wait a minute, the 13th, that's okay.
9 o'clock,
I got a doctor's appointment that morning,
Okay.
you do it in the
afternoon,
afternoon.
1 o'clock, should
1
be
o'clock
better
would be
for me,
fine.
actually.
That's
Yeah,
on the
me too.
13th?
Mhm.
Okay.
Here?
Yes.
This is the boardroom.
What I can suggest for this meeting, we ought to try, Clint, to understand what rights we have and what we don't.
And the
'Cause I'm
process
still-
of how we would do it.
Yeah, I'm still a little fuzzy on who really is in charge of this.
I have some thoughts I can share at
Okay.
that
Wonderful.
workshop.
Thank
Maybe we
you.
can do a
That's
little
what I'm-
research
We don't need to
between
do it
now and
here.
then. and-
Yeah.
Okay, good, all right, so
So, may I ask, so what time is?
1
it?
o'clock,
1 o'clock.
yep, on the 13th, January 13th, make a note of that, Ms. Kara,
For-
so we can post that, Commissioner Workshop, to discuss ambulance coverage for the county.
accommodating that day for me.
Pardon, you bet, no problem.
And I know it sounds like I'm really pro them. Believe me, that is not the case.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, and I can reach out to AMR and see if we can get something in writing from them for that meeting, at least we can consider that as well, so, okay,
Well, wait a
anything
minute,
else, sir?
we can
No,
talk
it's
about it.
all right.
Okay, Commissioner Kanda?
I'd be a little careful talking to AMR, Tom, until we get, we don't wanna have them with the expectation we're gonna.
Yeah, well, we've already talked to him once, so
Yeah, I
we
know.
just never got anything in
I think we just
writing.
need to work the governmental process here. All right, yeah, as far as costs and all that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, two things. I did have a meeting with the fiber optic boys, Carmel and his crew, to see where we were with the process of working on the 3 steps or 4 steps that are gonna happen, get the grants and move forward. So I asked them to get a plan together, or structure, what are they doing, so we can take a look at it as a team with us, the towns together, see what the program's gonna shape up to me. And I'll get that to you as soon as I get them, and we'll get Tom, or get the 2 board, mayors together with it too, at some point, but before the end of the month. Also had a meeting with the highways and byways guys, and Jimmy Little as well, and then we're talking about how this has progressed since '94 up till now. It's become quite a big deal, and a lot of people, and the county's been benefiting by the scenic byways and the tourism that has resulted as a result. And so they asked us, and I'm part of the directors of that, so I thought it was a good idea when I talked to Jim, and then Jim sent that letter to all 3 of us. So I've got the bullets I wanna put into a note, and it can be email, or we can mail it to the group that is gonna have the meeting on the 21st of this month down in Pueblo. And that'll be a good vocalizing our support, if you guys agree. We support that with a letter, and I'll coordinate that, and I'll just pass the letter through, and then we'll get a
So
hard
we
copy.
need to put that on the agenda for the 15th?
We could, and then finalize it then. And then I want all 3 of us to sign it. Big show of support.
So that would be, consider letter of support for scenic byways.
On the 15th, or did you mean, are we meeting on the 18th or the?
15th.
When's the actual, we haven't set the board meetings, have we?
We have already voted to have it on the 15th.
Was it on the 15th? Oh, that's right.
Away from today, and then we don't have any planned after
Yeah,
that.
that's,
Well, we voted on the 3, all 3 in January,
yeah, we did do that.
31st.
Always the 31st, yeah. No,
Yeah,
I-
so that's good, I'm good.
Okay, good. Where was that meeting with scenic byways?
It's in the museum down there, in Pueblo.
That's
And
where you met?
No, I did, this was a telephone
Oh,
call.
conference, okay.
Yeah. And that meeting will be down there, in Pueblo. I'll
On the
try to go to
21st.
that on the 21st. I missed the last one.
Okay, anything else, sir?
Let's see, no, I got another item, I'll wait till the end of the whole meeting, I don't need to worry
Okay.
yet right
All
now.
right. So I'll go through some things relatively quickly here. The conference table obviously didn't happen today. I have 2 coats of finish left to put on that, so we'll bring it in.
Where is it?
Friday.
Need some help?
It's in Mike Smith's wood shop.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it looking
No,
good?
we'll get it, yeah, I think it's gonna be fine.
Is it gonna fit?
So, it's narrower than this table, so it should fit, yes. Sorry, I don't know why that just happened. And then, I think, we need to conduct employee evaluations on our maintenance and our custodial position. I kinda looked at Jay, he's a point of contact for human services. Do you wanna, are you okay with that, Bill?
Yeah, you should do it.
We're 6 months past due on the custodial, so I'd like to see us get that, as soon as possible, and I can visit with you a little about where we're at, currently on salaries and that kind of thing.
Does Ivan do maintenance at EMS and
Yes.
the clinic?
Not the clinic, well, he does on a separate job, not for us. but
Okay,
yeah.
but, because, I mean, EMS belongs to the clinic also, I mean, it's not our bit.
Yeah, you said EMS, I was thinking OEM, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, you'll do it on that building.
But he does it
Not
under
for
a
us.
separate agreement.
Exactly.
Okay.
Got nothing to do with
Airport.
county, so.
Okay.
And then, I also wanted to have a discussion quickly about disposing of some county property. Most of it is, old desks and chairs that are downstairs in the basement that's become a
Hazard.
dumping ground. So I would like to get rid of a bunch of that stuff. In my opinion, I think
Is it junk or is it worth it?
most of the chairs have something wrong with them. They've been replaced with newer chairs. I'd like to set them out by the annex, put a free sign on it, and let people take them if they want them. It's better than putting them in the landfill. I don't think they're worth trying to sell in an auction or put out a request for
I don't
bids
know,
on
does
it.
Jackie have heard that
Just
old
junk.
desk out there? That's historical.
I like the idea of putting a free sign, but also there's a fellow in town named Bobby.
Is what?
Bobby is his name, he's a junker. He would be happy to pick all this stuff up at no cost. Maybe we ought to give out what we can, whatever's not picked up, call
Let
him.
him take it to the scrap iron instead of
Yeah,
the
there'll be something.
landfill.
He recycles it all.
Silver Cliff also asked me if we had an old desk that they could use in their county, or in their town shop. And there is a government-issued desk down in the
Why don't we
basement.
let them come and
I'd like
take
to
first
give that
dibs?
away as well. And we just donate
Sure.
that to the county. So by consent, if you're okay with that, I'll
I'm fine.
continue to move forward. Ms. Jackie, you have a comment?
Bobby came and picked up a bunch of electronics for free. My suggestion is just give all the chairs to Bobby. And don't clutter up the free stuff, because we had that free stuff out here, and we had one piece left, and we had to haul the rest to the landfill after it blew over and it snowed on it,
All right,
and it looked awful,
okay, good
out
point.
my window.
Okay. All right, so I'll move forward on that. We'll get that cleaned up.
I want Bobby's number for other reasons.
What if you
He's
put
got
a,
his number.
what if you put a
Do you give it to him?
ad in the paper
We could just
for
say on
30 days, and
on
then
this
if it
week,
doesn't.
it's gonna
if
be out
Come
nobody
and pick them
does it-
up, but with the free sign on.
Yep, but you'd have to take people down there to see it.
No, I think
No?
the approach there would be, set it over there, say on this day, there's gonna be some surplus county.
Come and get what you want.
Then who
Chairs or
does the
whatever.
actual physical labor of hauling it all over there?
Ivan and myself would do
But
that.
Bobby would help.
We gotta get it out of
But
there.
if
But
you
I don't
gave
have
it to
trouble
him,
just letting this
he'd do
scrap iron guy do it too. I don't care. But we'll deal with it, if that's all right with you guys. And you're okay with donating that desk to the town of Silver Cliff?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Thank you, appreciate that. So the new conference table will come in either Friday or over the weekend, depending on the help I can get rounded up to bring that in. I did sign a check for the skid steer for the landfill. It is on site. And I believe that check's going out in the mail this week or
It
next.
should be, yes.
Yeah. And then my calendar, I don't think I'll spend a lot of time on that. I did attend the American Legion meeting last night and gave them kind of a state of the county thing, where we're at on progress for some of the projects. I thought I had a good little meeting with them as well, so that's about all I have. questions,
Just a
comments?
quick
Go ahead.
question. What are we gonna do with this nice table?
It's going downstairs for now, because they can use it for election judges.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest not giving this
No,
one away, this is too good.
that was not my plan of it. We were gonna take it downstairs. Good question, thank you. Okay, anything else, gentlemen? Commissioner items, attorney items?
The only thing I've done since our last meeting was prepare proposed resolution 20-02 for the county to accept the roads in Cuerna Verde subdivision that Gary Hyde said we're already maintaining and repairing.
And do you have that available today,
Uh,
or 15th?
Yeah, how are we gonna handle it?
Send it to Kara, she can forward it to all of you to take a look at.
Okay, so we need that on the 15th agenda then?
Right.
So consideration of resolution 20-02, acceptance of county roads in Cuerna Verde subdivision.
Was it just
We
that? I
already
thought.
put it on there.
Yeah, 'cause I think we.
It's already.
It's already on there,
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
all right, good.
That one's on there.
Good, good, good.
Gary's working on a list of all the other roads.
So we can accept all the rest of them
Well, we'll have to probably
that
do
are
that by a
appropriate
separate
that they're doing now,
resolution.
right?
Right,
But,
okay,
yeah.
all right, good. Anything else, sir?
No.
Thank you, appreciate it. Administrative assistant items? Nothing?
Come on, you got something. Tell us
Okay, any old business?
anything.
I don't know.
I have no old business, gentlemen.
No.
We'll move on to new business. We'll allow public comment on anything that is an action item. The first item of business I put on the agenda was ratifying the chairman signing the VSO report. Since we did not have staff reports, he came in and said he needed to send that report
Right.
in. He had a deadline. I signed it, so I would move to ratify the action of the chairman
I'll
signing
second.
the VSO report. We moved and seconded to ratify citing the VSO report. Discussion.
Thanks for doing it.
You're welcome. Public comment, you have a copy of that
Yes.
as well.
I
So, okay.
And we had it last time too.
Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Action of signing that has been ratified.
Quick question,
Yes.
just because you mentioned old business. What is old business?
Old business,
We had an argument about that before.
well, there's no argument. It's
It was-
very clear. Old business would be any item of business that we were in the middle of that was disrupted by some kind of an emergency, a fire,
Right.
illness, that we just had to say, you know what, we're stopping it right here, we'll deal with it
So
next.
the point of, what made me think to ask that is, then it would be on the agenda. Because asking us if there's old business.
It really is, and I'm being polite.
Yeah, I know, don't be
There
polite,
either
let's
is
just
and there
get-
isn't, so, if you're good with that, typically the chair would say
Just go-
there is no old business,
That's
we
right.
move on.
That's right. That
But,
doesn't really matter either way.
yeah, a lot of people
Sure.
think, well, we were talking about something, we never decided
Yeah.
it, so it's old business, that's
That's
not
not
the
the
case,
case.
no.
I thought we changed that to unfinished business.
It should be unfinished
That's what I
business,
thought
yeah.
too.
It got lost in the
Must have
transfer,
unfinished.
so instead of old, it should be unfinished business, that's
Right.
correct. So, and really.
That's what makes people think they can go
It would
back.
be an item of business that was never brought to completion due to an unforeseen emergency, is
Weird.
how the Robert's rules
What
clarify
is it,
that.
what about tabled items? Is that?
Those are
business?
different, yeah, those come back under new business,
That's right.
yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Pretty clear.
Yeah, and typically, we would table an item to a specific date, or we just table it. And if it's
Never
tabled, it
denies.
stays on the table until somebody brings it off the table, and that would be done under new business.
Right.
We really, technically, we need to have another line under new business, to say,
Is there anything tabled?
additional new business. Then if somebody, because
Well, that's true.
tabled items
Yeah,
wouldn't be
you're right.
on here.
You're right.
Then when we get to that, we'd say, are there any additional items of business? Mr. Chairman, I move to take from the table, whatever, so.
Yeah.
Maybe we add that before public comment, put additional items of business. It's a little tricky because then we don't have a 24-hour post, but good questions, thank you, sir. Next item of business, was there some activity I was missing there? Somebody was waving?
No.
No,
Okay.
there was a
I'll wait
flying
till I
object.
Mike, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
You batting flies and
Yeah.
that's,
Next item of business
like being
is
in an
the
auction.
consideration of the holiday calendar. We will deal with that via a resolution. If you want to
for discussion.
look at it and discuss it first, that's
I'll move that
acceptable.
we
or-
accept it as presented and we can
Okay.
discuss it.
I'll second it. It's been moved and seconded to accept the holiday calendar as presented. Again, knowing that that will be dealt with through a resolution. Discussion? So between Kelly, myself, Kara, and last year's calendar, this is what we came up with. I don't think there's anything other than the New Year's Eve day, half a day. We have a meeting potentially we could have a meeting that morning. We haven't decided that yet. But generally, we would meet on the last day of the month to handle the bill paying business and then close the courthouse at noon for a half a day holiday. Other than that, I think everything's pretty standard. The only thing that caught my eye was, and it's historical, I just didn't really think about that, was the day before the 4th of July. 4th of July is on a Saturday, so Friday, July 3rd would become a holiday. Yeah.
Is there anything that backs up meeting-wise to the day before the holiday?
No, I think we're good. I think we're good. Further discussion? I guess my suggestion here would be, because we have this motion on the table, we could go ahead and act on that motion and then act on the resolution after that. Okay. Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on the holidays for 2020. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed nay. Motion carries. Group's pleasure on the resolution pertaining to the holidays.
I move that we adopt the resolution 20-4, is that right?
No, 01.
01.
Yes.
It's the first resolution.
I'll second the motion. Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 20-01, a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Custer County, Colorado, adopting the 2020 official holidays for the employees of Custer County. I can certainly go through those real quick, probably faster than you can write, but we don't have a problem providing you a copy of that afterwards. So, further discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of adopting resolution 20-01, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I've got a copy of that resolution, and we will get that signed.
We have, in the past, and then I think when it hit a weekend, it got dropped, and so, yeah. Because
I condensed
this
that down
year,
to 10
we were
fonts
the
so
only
we could get it on
building
one
that
page. It was
was
page
of the, yeah.
third. I didn't think we wanted to deal with that.
So you don't want to be politically correct and have it Indigenous Persons Day? on
No,
Columbus
absolutely
Day?
not. Not interested in that.
I almost said that.
You
Well,
got
I
it.
Decide
always-
I'm not, because if you know the history of Columbus, this was not a nice guy.
Well, somebody would have done it if it wasn't Columbus. It was gonna happen anyway, but how about Indigent Persons Day?
We could do that. I could support that. All right, yes. Next item of business is consideration of the meeting calendar, the BOCC meeting calendar. You gentlemen have a copy of that. I can tell you there's been some changes on that because as we went through that, things kept coming up and we kept making some changes. So I would like to go through this quickly,
Let's see it.
line by line. And probably for the sake of ease, maybe we go through this and then Chair would entertain a motion. So January 8, 15, and 31, pretty standard. February 4, 5, and 19, pretty standard. February 5th, I contacted the sheriff. He is okay with us conducting the jail tour by statute. We need to do that. And then the 19th, the meeting would be in Wetmore. The 28th, the commissioners would meet here, and the 28th is also a staff meeting. I assigned these staff meetings based on the rotating schedule that we have been going on. There'll be 4 of them this year, so I would conduct that February 28th. March 3rd, I just put that down there as clarification. That's a presidential primary election Tuesday, so we moved those commissioner meetings to 5, 6, 18, and 31. With 18th being in Wetmore as well. April 7, 8, 15, and 30, standard meeting dates, 15th being in Wetmore. May 5 and 6, commissioner meetings here. May 20, commissioner meeting at Silver West Airport. May 29th here, and Commissioner Candu would chair that staff meeting. Our CCI summer conference is June 1 through the 3rd, so we moved the meetings, BOCC meetings, to June 4 and June 5, and then June 17th we would meet at San Isabel Lodge at noon. You will notice we're gonna have through this calendar, we dropped one of the San Isabel Lodge meetings.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, I thought we
Yeah.
did, and why not that one?
Well, personally, I think we need to go up there at least once.
Well, I do too, but
Okay.
we're, well, I guess it doesn't matter traveling wise, we're just pretty
yeah.
busy that month.
And then June 29 here, and then June 30th is that Tuesday. That will continue to be payroll day. Payroll day will not be on the 29th. We would sign those checks, and then they would be distributed on the 30th. So I added that list day on there to avoid any confusion per Donna Hobby's request. July 7, 18, normal meetings here, the 15th in Wetmore, and then the 31st here. August 4 and 5, meetings here with the Board of Equalization meeting scheduled on the 5th. Whether we have one or not, we'll have to check with JD. August 12 and 28, standard meetings. Commissioner Prince would chair the staff meeting on the 28th.
Wait a second, back up this quick. The Board of Equalization, is that after the commissioner meeting?
Yes, well, it's in the commissioner meeting.
Or is it during?
Yes, during. We would take a recess.
Change hats.
Yeah, we would
Okay.
take a recess and call that meeting to order and conduct any business if we have any. If we don't have any, is my understanding, Ms. Kelly, we don't actually have to go into that meeting unless we have business. And then, I don't know why that's being weird. Huh. Give me just a second here. I've got a weird indent there, okay. So, let's see, and then, August 12 and 28 meetings here. September 1, 2 here, September 16th back in Wetmore, and the 30th here, pretty standard format in September. October 6 and 7 for commissioner meetings, 13, 14, 15, and 16 for the budget hearings, Wetmore on the 21st, and back here on the 30th. November 3rd is a general election day, so we move those commissioner meetings to November 5 and 6, 18 and 30, all here. And then December, CCI Winter Conference in the Springs, December 1st and 2nd. November 30th, December 1st and 2nd. And then, rather than to try to have a meeting and get to that CCI conference, we bumped those down to December 8 and 9. And the 16th here, I would chair the staff meeting after that meeting on the 16th. And then December 31st, a meeting here, and then we close at noon. So we would have our board meeting in the morning and then close at noon for the holidays. So that is a proposed calendar that we have come up with. Comments on that? Yes, sir.
First thing I want to say is, I promised I wouldn't do this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
You don't.
Who'd you promise?
I promised myself.
Oh, okay, you can break a promise
That
to
I wasn't
yourself.
gonna be Mr. Nice Guy all the time, but I gotta tell you, this is a heck of a lot of work that you did. I really commend you on doing this.
Thank you,
Sincerely.
appreciate that.
That's a
It was-
lot of work, and I know it is, because I've done it a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And it is a nightmare.
Well, it's a little stressful too, thank you for that.
That's true.
Because we end up making decisions, somebody has to make decisions without us all being wrapped into those discussions about those
Right.
decisions. But I think everything here was pretty carefully scrutinized, and Kelly and I and Kara made probably 40 changes to this calendar in the last 2 days. So,
That's why I
thank you, I appreciate
appreciate
that.
that. One question,
Yes,
June 30th, the normal day that we would approve the vouchers.
Yes.
We don't have a specific meeting, so are we gonna approve vouchers on the 29th?
Yes, that is
Okay,
the idea,
okay,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah, and then they would be distributed on the
Got
thirtieth,
it.
and that's why I made that point, is so that people don't assume because we're having a meeting on the 29th that they will
paid.
get their paychecks that
Right,
day.
and then the 30th,
30th is,
are we having a
It
meeting?
is an election. That's why we're not having.
that's
a
election
meeting.
day, that's why
Primary,
we're
so
we
meeting
won't
on the
have it.
29th.
That was one
Thank
of the
you.
dates that we went,
Thank
yeah, that's
Oh, we
not
got a
gonna
problem
work.
here. I went ahead and put the 30th on here as election day, so people might look at this and go, oh, wonder why they're not meeting on the 30th? Because of the state and county primary election. Good question there. Anything else, gentlemen, on that?
No, good work, thank you.
There's a lot of meetings in Wetmore. I think at some point, maybe we have a discussion about how many meetings is fair and equitable to go down there, but I didn't want to get into that this year, so. And I'll be honest, we just have not had any community involvement from San Isabel, so that's why we trimmed that back.
Right.
We discussed that,
Yeah.
2 meetings we
Yeah.
had, there was not a
Shouldn't
soul
be
there, that
news.
wasn't normal.
Well, you know, and
Just go
it was a
along
neat thing to try to do, but you get right down to it, it's easy to get to Wetmore if they really have an issue and
That's
care.
true, too.
They
They
ought to
could
be
just
able to
come
drive
another-
over. As a matter of fact, I'd like to see them come there.
10 or 12 miles to go to Wetmore, it's a good point, yeah. Further discussion on this, well, sorry, that was just discussion, so, in light of that discussion, I would move that we accept the 2020 BOCC meeting
I'll
schedule.
second that.
Been moved and seconded to accept, further discussion, public comment, question? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay? Motion carried. We could pass it on a
You
2
can
to
still pass it.
2-0,
Didn't
but,
need me.
okay.
I'd go along
Very
kicking
good.
and screaming.
So our next item of business is our county appointments. I guess we would start, well, let's start with the county appointments instead of the regional appointments, if that's all right. Pull that up.
Is that the one Jackie was squawking about?
I don't know. I try not to listen to her squawk. Let's do the county position appointments, and then we'll come back to the boards. Is that okay, gentlemen? So we're on a different document, sir, than that.
Okay, one document.
Which one are you
The
on?
government appointments.
Oh,
That's that one?
Yeah, no.
Fair
That's
board.
that one. Now, it's
If you
titled
can't find it, I
Custer
have
County
more.
Government
If you
Appointments.
want that one, Jay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you need one, Tom?
Oh, this
I
one.
do
let me
not.
have
Okay.
one.
That's
And
correct.
I just gave you one right here.
Oh, there it is.
Yes.
Did you see Kara, I'm sorry.
I remember reading this one.
What's the
Few
date?
minutes more, yeah.
The date?
There's
Yeah, I
the-
just changed the year
Yeah,
on
this was
mine,
last
so,
year's,
yeah.
or we just
It-
looking
Yeah,
at
so
it?
just write 2020
Yeah,
on
sorry
top
about
of that.
that.
We've got some
Yes,
changes to
today.
make here, no question, so.
Okay.
Right, it's
If
old-
it's all right, we'll
old
go down
business
through
here.
that line by line.
It's all good.
So we've done the officer elections, clerk to the board, Kelly Camper, admin assistant, Kara
It's not
Evans,
Brenda.
county attorney. Sorry, I've already made these changes, so I'll give you guys a chance to
Just give
do
us
that.
the answer. and then-
Yep, county attorney Clint Smith,
You sure?
R&B supervisor Gary Hyde, assistant supervisor Roger Squire / Vince Cook, assistant Wetmore Larry Haynes, Donna Hobby, Stephanie Wybara, Ivan Mars should be a change on your sheet, I believe,
Wait a minute,
as maintenance.
it's not even on here. So custodian, you're.
Oh, yeah, so custodian is Stephanie Wybara. Scales and maintenance, Ivan
Ivan.
Mars. If you want, we could just print this out.
Let me
real
print
quick.
that up,
Let's do that. I'll send that over for,
then we can cross it
Oh.
off. Just be-
I'll print 4 copies, 5 copies. Should have done that. I apologize, gentlemen. That got shuffled somewhere.
This was
We
the
can
last-
continue and then you'll get that,
It's okay.
So,
Laura
Human Service
Lockhart's
Director
doing
Laura Lockhart, I did not make these changes, we're gonna deal with that today, and rather than leave them blank, I didn't want to delete them, so we'd have a point of
Yeah, we'll
reference, so
talk
that would
about
be
the paper
changed.
here in a minute.
Official posting place, bulletin board, county website, and then the depositories, United Business Bank and Colo Trust. Thank you, ma'am, appreciate
Uh-huh,
that.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you could give one to council, that'd be great.
You want a hard copy?
It's fine, thank you. Unless
Can you
need it.
email that to me? Just, or I'll take that, actually.
Either one, I can email it real quick.
We're good.
Okay.
That way you can go on.
So United Business Bank, Colo Trust, P&Z Director Jackie Hobby, Code Enforcement Jackie Hobby, Sanitarian Jackie Hobby, IT Director Vernon Roth, Public Health Alyssa Livengood, OEM Director Meredith Nichols, VSO John Carroll. That's probably a change on your old sheet, but you can just throw those away if you want.
I did.
Landfill Supervisor, Rusty Christensen. I'm gonna put a slash in there as well because we know we're gonna have a change.
TBD.
So TBD there, yes. And so that is our standard government appointments. Group's pleasure.
Sir, I don't think we really can vote on this until we vote on the county publisher.
That's true, because the way it is right now, we'd be voting on that wording. So we can, we can postpone this and do that, or we can put to be determined there.
Bring something up.
So-
In the past, you guys have sort of done these, like lumped them, so that you could include that. So you'd say, I mean, you already did the chairman, vice chairman,
Those aren't
commissioner. So then you could do, I mean, you lump them together, and so then when you get to the publisher,
Right.
then at that time you can,
Can add
instead of doing this as one big
I just
document.
didn't want to do it as one document.
Right.
Just say,
When we
yeah.
had something
Right.
that
Right.
needed a
So let's
Um,
exclude the paper and approve it.
And
We
something
can, or
that,
we can postpone a vote on this until we,
something I didn't think
Yeah, they're
about
on.
that maybe you need to add on there is the trash service.
I just thought of that. Just as you started talking, I thought we'd do that. We probably ought
Yeah.
to put our trash.
Since you got bids from
Mhm.
them.
Let's put that right under the publisher and secondary publisher. We'll add trash services. Thank you, Kelly. That's a good point. So I moved to postpone until after we have opened bids.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded to postpone action on county government appointments until after we open those bids. Discussion. Public comment. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. We will postpone this document. So the next item of business would be the board appointments. You should have that document again. There may have been some changes, and I would suggest we go down through those line item as well.
Is the one in our packet the most up-to-date one?
No, because I had a couple updates this morning. Let's do the same thing. Let's print some copies of that as well.
Did you already update it?
It is, yes.
This isn't an update yet?
No, it was
Yeah, I
accurate
think it makes-
yesterday, but it's not today. That's the problem.
Ms. Carroll, whenever, later today, if you would email to me both the ones that you gave me hard copies of,
Absolutely.
because that's what we're
Right.
updating.
Yes,
Thank
sir,
you.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just did not get that done. I had one more position to get confirmed this morning, and so it's,
Thank you.
it's not accurate. We can start, though, while we're waiting on those copies. Upper Ark Area Council of Governments, Commissioner Prince, are you okay with continuing that?
I appreciate it, yes.
By consent, Commissioner Candy, you all right?
You bet.
As am I. That would be a one-year appointment, so that would be 1/21. UCOG Recycling Board, Commissioner Prince, you okay?
I would
By
appreciate it,
by
yes.
consent, gentlemen,
Mhm.
as am I. And then Workforce Investment Board, myself, Charles Bogle, and Chuck Steigerwalt. I don't anticipate any changes there, so I'm gonna put those as 121s as well.
Are they all 1 year?
Yes.
Okay, this is legit.
That should be, other than the years, so far these are all 121s. Yeah. Southern Colorado Economic Development District, SCED, Commissioner Prince, you okay?
I'll be there all day tomorrow.
By consent, gentlemen?
Good.
I'm good with that. Mr. Vogel as well. Airport Board, we had two reappointments there. Bob Jolly, so his term will expire in 1 of 23, and Dan Green, 1 of 23. Those were the only new appointments. Yes.
Why is Commissioner Kanda not on there?
Just point of contact.
Yeah.
Just
He
like
should
the
be,
other.
shouldn't he? We have point of contacts everywhere else, I mean, shouldn't he be on that list?
We certainly can, yes.
I would think so.
Okay. So let's add that. Oop, we don't need that in bold. Give me just a second here.
Assuming you still wanna do that.
Yes, I do.
We
I
have,
knew you did.
Go ahead.
we have that point of contact.
Yeah, we have a point of
that kind
contact list, actually.
This is just,
This is really the
On the
boards,
boards.
yeah. You know what, I think she's correct in that assessment. We have a whole list of our point of contacts. You all right with that, sir? Commissioner Prince?
Yeah, I'm fine with that, I
Okay.
just find it interesting that
Yeah, well,
some
these
of
are
them have it and
actually,
some don't, I thought
Some
we would
don't
be
have
consistent,
Well,
but I don't-
Commissioners should
but
be
these
on
aren't
some.
point of contacts. These are, we're actually on those boards.
I know we're not on the, okay,
We're serving on those
Yeah,
boards.
Yeah, you're serving on
I'm with
the
you.
upper
He
arc.
does not
I'm
serve
with
on the
you.
airport board.
that is fine.
Yeah,
I
okay.
agree.
911 Authority Board, myself and Commissioner Kanda, by consent, are we all right to leave that?
Yep, thank you, Ms. Gill.
So those will be 121s.
So just a quick question.
Go ahead.
Back up. You got Charles Bogle on economic development, Jay. Was that a new term?
It's an annual term, yes. It's just a reappointment.
So it's nobody, so it's, is there, I'm not arguing whether it's
No,
Charles
it's
or
fine.
not. It's just, I was wondering if people volunteered to do that. Were they aware?
Are you talking about the SCED?
Well, yeah, well, I just picked that because there.
Okay.
I saw one where John Johnson was asked to be considered for
And-
the planning.
And we'll
commission.
get to that.
I know you will, but so
there was an
on these
ad
one,
in the paper.
was there an ad for all these positions?
Yep,
Okay, that's what I was,
yep,
how
thank
did we
you.
get it in their name?
Yeah.
Their names are on here
Right.
because they all volunteered to be on
Right.
there. Or if
Or-
there was more than one, then we would have to
Exactly.
reconcile that here in this meeting.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep, thank you. CES Custer Emergency, Commissioner Cannon, Commissioner Prince,
Yes, sir.
okay?
These are all just one year.
Yes, if they're not ones, I'll
Okay,
alert you to that. Action 22, Commissioner Kanda is a seated board member on that, then Commissioner Flower, Commissioner Prince, Chuck Steigerwalt, Charles Bogle. I think that's standard business there. You guys are by consent, are you okay with that?
yeah.
You boys wanna go to Hollywood, huh?
I reached out to Jerry Draper. She has agreed to serve on that film commission. She's been on in the past. She was not on it last year. Marilyn Hennessy was. She no longer is a resident of the county. That's also a one-year appointment. By consent, gentlemen, you okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
And Jay, I've got a slash in there. I'm gonna put 3 lines in that. Take that slash out of there. You all right with that?
Sure.
I think it'd be a little more appropriate to have individual lines there. Boy, I'll tell you, Word sometimes just about makes me wanna lose my religion. Front Range Transportation, region. Bill, you've been on that. I've been attending those meetings. Do you want to stay
Yeah, I
on
haven't,
that? Or
I've lost track of it, to tell you the
Okay.
truth.
I would do that only because I've been going. If you want to make a change there, that's up to you.
Yeah, let's do this.
Okay, all right, so we'll insert myself.
I don't know how to overlook what I did.
Yeah, no biggie. It's back to one of those things of divide and conquer.
Well, let me ask a question then,
Go ahead.
because of that. Is it appropriate to have two commissioners on these boards at the same time?
We certainly could on
Well,
this front
I'm
range.
just asking if it's
but-
appropriate or not, because, you know, when two are there, we
Right.
have issues.
No, I don't think so. At Central Front Range Transportation Regional Planning meetings, we discuss that business. We
Yeah,
don't
not
discuss county
county.
business, right?
But
So-
we're representing the county, aren't we?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I guess it's the same. So I may come once in a while.
yeah, and we can leave you on there too. I don't have a problem with that. I just thought,
I'm glad you're steady.
since I've been attending those meetings, if you
I
want.
didn't mean it in that sense, I was
Right,
just looking at all,
just
we
in
got several
general.
places where we
Yeah.
have two of us.
Right. Scenic byways, Mr. Kanda,
Yep,
1 year.
Does that special
I'm on the
transit
direct- I'm on
advisory
the board
commission,
for
does
that,
that go with,
Yes,
okay,
and that's a board position.
on
byways.
scenic byways, yes, and I'll put a
So
parentheses
right
in there and
there.
I'll put, every county has a board seat, right?
As far as I know.
So I'm adding board position to that as well.
can you, cause see how that printed out?
Yes, I changed
See where
mine.
that, oh, you changed?
Yeah, I changed it on
Okay.
here just now, so we got a full
Okay,
page document there. And you know what, Kelly, you probably have a legitimate question. I'll do a little research on the Special Transit Advisory Commission. Those, I think they're the same.
well, that's
what?
got a slash there, so
Front
that's what I
range,
wondered
yeah.
if that went after the slash, or?
It does.
I
I
bet
mean,
it
it
is.
has.
It just didn't carry across.
Yeah, it just printed
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, I just backspaced that, so that slash is
Okay.
in there.
That's right.
Okay, Southern Colorado Rural Emergency Trauma Advisory Committee. So, this gets into some kind of gray area stuff. I guess we appoint those. I reached out to that group. The only person I was not able to get a hold of was Patrick Fiore, but those reps do get a search and rescue rep on there, so I'll have to clean this up a little, to be honest with you. I forgot there's a line break for all alternates, so the reps would be Beth Archuleta, Kit Shy, Patrick Fiore, Alyssa Livengood, and Cindy Flower.
So it stands for the Southern
I'm
Colorado
sorry.
Regional Emergency
Trauma
Trauma, that's.
Advisory Committee, yeah.
Trauma, I couldn't get it.
I'm sorry, let me go back. Beth Archuleta, Kit Shy, Patrick Fiore are seated member or reps, and then Justine Beach, Susan Carlin, Rob Fogel, Alyssa Livengood, Cindy Flower would be alternates.
So you're gonna move those around?
Yeah, I better do that right now.
Stick them on their own.
Yeah. Because they really need to go down to the alternate line.
So how does alternates work then? Do they go to the meetings or they come in?
If
when
they
one
are
leaves?
needed, if one of the seated reps cannot go, then they.
So there's
attend.
always a seated rep.
Yes, they
or
are
a rep.
very intense about having county representation there. So that's why we're trying to make sure we get this right. And again, Patrick Fiore is search and rescue rep. Okay, so we have 3 seated. If you don't mind, let me just check that email real quick to make sure we don't make a mistake here.
Well,
Oh, you know what? I'm glad I looked. So, oh, that's right. So Beth, Justine, and Kit. Is that what your records
That's what we
show?
got.
And then Susan, Rob.
You had Patrick Fiore.
Patrick would be seated also, yes. And then the alternates would be Susan, Rob,
Lisa,
Justin.
Alyssa,
Alyssa, I mean,
and
Cindy.
Cindy. Is that what you have? Let me go back to my,
So Patrick is he's on
he's a
the,
member, yes.
He's on the
okay,
board.
so we just need to move him.
I did,
Right.
yeah. I've got Elizabeth, Patrick, and Kit as reps.
What about Justine?
You had Justine a minute ago, you said.
She is an alternate, I believe. Let me double check that. Justine Beach is seated, my apologies.
So Patrick's the only one that needs to move up.
Give me just a second here. On my document, I need to move Justine up,
Oh,
Just black.
but I'm doing that as we speak. Oh, gosh darn it. So Elizabeth, Patrick, Kit, and Justine are seated. That your records reflect that? And then Susan. Rob Fogel, Alyssa Livengood, Cindy Flowers, alternates.
Thank you.
Okay there, gentlemen?
Yep.
Okay, so the Director of Ambulance Licensure Inspection, that is Southern Colorado, RETAC. That group does that. Planning Commission, would you like to speak, ma'am?
Yes, please.
Come forward. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Thank you.
I want to compliment Miss Jackie too.
Why?
Thank you.
She did all the lion's work on these next 3 appointments, made sure those letters were in hand, and so I really appreciated that. Thank you. She's got letters for us to sign if we vote to approve these as
Okay,
well. Don't
so-
ever forget to do that.
Wanted ad was sent out because I'm lacking board members. So I would, had 2 board members of the planning commission that need reappointed, and that's Mike Shields and Patrick Lynch. So I would like their approval to be appointed for a 3-year term on the planning commission, please.
Okay? And those were not new appointments, those needed to be re-upped.
Correct.
Okay.
So
All right.
Shields and Lynch.
Yeah, they're on there.
To one, I see
Yeah.
them.
Okay,
One
go ahead.
23.
Okay, the BZA, Mr. Patterson was the chairman, and he moved away, and so he came in and he resigned his position. The way that the board works is that the associate members get the first chance of taking the seated position. So Daryl Winland was
Draw out of a hat, or how does that happen?
we asked.
Seniority
We
or-
asked with seniority. So Daryl Winland will take Kenny Patterson's place, if he's approved, for the remainder of Kenny's term.
So
Do you
don't
know when
have
that
him on
expires? No, we do not have him on here.
No.
No, because I took Kenny off, so Daryl Winland's term would expire in 2022.
one L or two?
Yeah, I was gonna ask
Two
you, how do you
L's, two
spell it?
R's.
What? Windler?
No,
Oh,
Darryl.
Winland.
Darryl.
Daryl's, two R's and two L's. I'll get you,
Spelling on the last
They
name?
spell Windland again.
WINDLAND. And I will get you
Windland.
122?
yes, all these terms expire in January.
Right, but the unexpired Patterson term was 122.
Correct.
Okay.
So he goes to 122.
Correct. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Okay, so if you would approve him as an associate member moving to a seated position on the BZA, please.
Okay, all right.
And then the other two that were up, they're already BZA members, was Lockett Pittman and Brad Hartbauer. They both sent their letters of intent in for 3 more years, and I would like them approved, please.
So it was 123 would be their, end of their term.
Yes.
Okay. Associates?
Associate,
minute.
oh,
Gene,
no,
Canterbury.
not
No.
up.
Not
No.
up. It
No.
says
Hartbauer
120.
and Pittman.
Okay.
Okay, so then, associates are appointed for 1 year, and they have to do a letter of intent every year. So that would be Skip Northcross, John G. Johnston, and a Mary Mowry.
Okay,
So,
1 year, so 121.
so I would like you to appoint all 3 of those
Okay.
also, please.
All right, very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, and I want to mention that, Kenny, we made a certificate for Kenny, for serving on the Board of Zoning Adjustment for many years, and he will be missed. And, I'm not just saying that because his son's in the audience.
Do we need to sign that, or did you already take care of that?
Already took care of that, and, if you'll sign those letters,
Okay.
and then I will make envelopes and make myself some copies.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Job well done.
So we don't have to move to
No,
approve this?
we'll do it as the entire document.
On the whole
You are
thing?
going to
Okay.
do the,
Was going to, yes. You okay with that?
you or the chair.
Well.
Okay.
It's not how
Are
it's
you
been
good with it?
Okay.
done, but you
Yeah.
do it how
All
you
right.
want it.
County Tourism Board, 3-year terms. We had a vacancy there. We did not have any new appointments. Charlie Ellison chose to go off of that tourism board. They have not had a replacement there.
Peggy Collins
so-
is still on it?
So I have a
Yes.
question about this.
Okay, go ahead.
I see Ms. Artiber is on there.
Oh, yeah, that's a delete.
That's a
Sorry.
delete.
Yes.
Thank you. Scared me.
It was an oversight on my part.
I thought you got a letter, I didn't know about.
No.
Good. Okay, I know there's an
Good
opening.
point, yeah.
When, I've spoken to them about filling that board, I told them when they're ready, the empty position, Mr. Ellison, told them they needed to come to us and we would approve it, or not approve it, that it would be our final decision, but they need to come make their recommendation to us.
Yeah, so I've only oh yeah. Sorry, I see the problem here. There are other members on the next page, Bob Swanson. So we do, other than just to recognize that Charlie Ellison has chosen to go off of that board, no new appointments there.
Good.
So you've got Peggy, Debbie, Jenny, Bob.
Yes, yep,
That's it?
yep.
Scared me.
West Custer Library Board, we've already done that at our last meeting. Renee Tobin, I've got that as 1220, that's not right.
On mine it says 1222.
Okay.
Rabinowitz. whatever.
Rabinowitz,
She got 2020.
but that's December, see, their terms down there end in December and the rest of ours end in January.
Yeah.
So 1222 for Renee Tobin. And we've
Actually,
already,
I've got her on here twice.
How do you?
oh, I do too.
Yeah.
So that's
So
why
we just
that,
need to take the
I didn't
1220
delete that,
out.
yeah, we'll
Yes.
delete that last Renee Tobin, thank you for catching that. So, Library Board, Dave Heppy, Debbie Rabinowitz, Nicole Parsons, Renee Tobin, Jim Gearhart, J.D. Henrich. Extension Advisory, Brianna Livengood goes to 123, Mary Gumpf 123, Kelly Camper to 123, Jordan Hedberg to 123. Good morning, sir.
I think I resigned from that board.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
I probably did it this last year, so that she either filled it or it's vacant. So
okay, all right, so you,
I have no interest.
okay, all right.
So how many are there supposed to be?
It's up to a certain number.
Told her that.
Yeah, I sent her a letter of resignation.
Okay, I'll follow up with that.
I think it was in February or something last
Okay.
year.
All right,
Because the few
good.
meetings I've been to, she's wondered where you.
Yeah, she thought you were still on that board, but.
No, I
also-
had sent in a letter of
Okay.
resignation to her, so
Okay,
she didn't get it.
I'll
or
follow up with her, make
something.
sure.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll
Appreciate
resend that to her, I'll go find it.
May I look at your?
This,
I just deleted the wrong one. So Janet Hedberg, I deleted her by mistake.
It's Jennifer Freeburg.
Janet
Yeah.
Freeburg, not Ed.
Freeburg.
I know.
Unless you got another wife or something.
She was a neighbor.
Yeah,
She was a neighbor.
That's correct.
Something you're
Yes.
not saying.
Yeah.
I said Hedberg and I'm typing
No, I
Freeburg.
get it.
And she's their 4-H rep.
4-H.
Yeah. Those all expire 123. Kyle Evans, Guinevere Nelson serve as ex officio members, undetermined terms there. So Brianna, Mary, Kelly, Janet, Kyle, and Guinevere. Is that
Right.
what you all have? Okay. Fair Board, Audrey Glusky, 23. Wendy Rusk, 23 as a cell committee member. Diane Rose, 123, Trent Stafford, 123, Marlissa Gonzalez, 123, Cheryl Larimore, 123, Brianna Evert, 123, Lynetta Gilmore, 121, Irene Saley is their new member, 123, Kyle Evans, Guinevere Nelson serve as ex officio, Sue Robertson, Lance Ingram, Pepper Stafford are on the cell committee. Sue's been on it for 2 years, her term expires in 123. Lance Ingram, 123. I'm sorry, Sue Robertson's 121. Lance Ingram, 123. Pepper Stafford, 123. Questions about that group?
No, sir.
Okay, Weed Advisory Board, I did not get a response from Arlie Garrison, who is the Colorado Department of Transportation rep on that board. He has not attended the meeting in 2019. He did attend the meeting in 2018. I left his name on there. I'll reach out to him and see. If he wants to continue, then we'll just have to vote on that as an addition later on.
So is it a requirement to have a CDOT do that?
No, that was a desire to have that CDOT rep on there. So Clint Smith indicated that he would like to continue to serve on that board, so his term goes to, actually, I had 123, those are 1-year terms.
I was gonna ask you about that.
Yeah. I'll
All of-
double check that real quick. I looked it up once, but I looked up about 6 of them yesterday, so. See what the bylaws, I was thinking it was 1, Clint.
I didn't look at the bylaws, I just took your word for it. At my age, I just take it year by year anyway.
That's exactly right.
At our age, Clint, that's what we do.
Yeah, one-year term, so that was a typo on my part. So those 23s should go back to 21s. Bill Donnelly, 21. Dick Downey, 121. Jeff Uthier, 121. Roger Gregg, 121. Sharon Berry is a 21. Roger Squire indicated to me, even though he's not going to be a county employee, he would like to continue to serve on that. So he's a 21. And then Linda Poole.
What's our status?
Well, yeah, I hesitated a little bit, but my understanding was she was leaving, but I was informed yesterday that she's back. She's not, so she's back in the county, so I'm gonna leave her on there.
Got a question.
Okay, go
So
ahead, sir.
Roger's got our road and bridge, is it requirement to have a road and bridge guy on it?
No,
Just because the road?
he was Road and Bridge,
I
so,
know.
yeah, we can take that R&B out of there. Thank you, good point. So, yeah, Roger Squire, 121.
Roger could do it too if we needed another road and bridge guy on there.
Pardon?
I mean, if we needed a road and
Oh,
bridge
yeah,
guy,
we
you
can
could
put
add
another
another
one
guy
on,
on.
yes, exactly, yep. Yep, it's just history, Roger was very
Yeah,
involved in that
sure
from Road and
was.
Bridge, so. I might just put a note to myself in there, and then have a conversation with that group.
It's not a bad idea.
You know who's really good with weeds down there?
No,
Kurt Wilson,
uh,
weeds and
okay,
That's true.
knowledgeable.
so I'll put Road and Bridge rep in there, and then I'll leave that.
Not a bad idea, because they get to see the
Mhm.
roads more often than everybody else does, see the weeds coming.
I know that weed board pretty good, I'm sure they would like to have that representation on there. So that is what I have, gentlemen, if we need a recap. Oh, sorry, no, I got most of a blank page in there. Wetmore Community Center Board, I spoke with those folks, no changes there.
You need to change it to 121, you're not.
That's correct, all those dates would go to 121s.
That's really true, the rest of this page.
Yeah.
It's all
And
121.
I apologize, I should have made that change yesterday. Started to see red by 4:30 yesterday, so.
So can I ask a question?
Yes.
And I'm not trying to create an issue, but is it really appropriate for a husband and wife to serve on the same committee, or does that skew the voting?
I don't have a problem with it, but
It's just a question.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to create an issue.
I've had it occur on other boards of mine and other boards that I've served on as well. But, yeah. Good question.
Just depends.
Let's see, do we have that?
Yeah,
You got Spar on
I
there.
have two of them. Ruth and John Spar
Oh,
and Courtney. And
Yeah, that's, sorry, I was
I don't
down
have
to
a
the
problem
library
with
board
it.
already,
I mean,
but,
these are wonderful people, do a
Right.
great job.
Right.
I just question whether it would be
Well,
one
if majority
family-
rules
a
and one vote
family
makes a
vote.
difference, it
Well,
might
that's
be an
my-
issue.
I don't
Did they all
know, I just
submit
brought it up.
letters again?
pardon me?
Did they all submit letters? or-
They submitted letters to Nan, is my understanding, and she just sent me an email.
Here's where they want it.
Yeah. Attainable housing, I did not get clear, indication from all those folks, so, Tony
Do you know
DeLang
anything,
is no
Jake?
longer on that, so that is a delete.
Tony who?
Tony
Oh,
DeLang.
there he is. Monty wanna do it?
As far as I know, yes. And then Autumn Deaver is representing UCOG on that.
Why is there 11/29/18 paren on that?
Oh, up on the top, it's probably when that was started, it actually is, that was their start date of that board. Terry Munson's no longer on that board either, that was an oversight. She had personal conflicts there. Enterprise Zone Rep, Charles Bogle, goes to a 21. Did not get clear indication from Wendy Rusk. I will follow up on that.
What is the enterprise zone rep?
It's a loan, Upper Ark Council of Governments loan program.
It's not part of the upper arc stuff that's already over there? It's
No,
a
it's
separate
different, yeah. And then I spoke with Keith Hood on the Upper Arkansas Basin Roundtable rep. He desired to continue serving on that. I've gone to a couple of those meetings. He does a good job of representing us there.
So, how about I move that we approve the appointments as presented and modified in our discussions.
Okay. I'll second that motion. We can always come back to this if we follow up with a couple of these people and there's a change, then we'll just put that on a agenda item and deal with it.
We've already approved the library board, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is this a double approver?
yeah, just so we have documentation of it here.
Reaffirm.
If we don't have it here, we don't have a record of that.
Yeah.
He keeps that record, so.
I'll get a new one all fixed up.
Further discussion, yeah, I'm gonna send you this one as well, so.
I've got a comment.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you voting now on
On this whole slate of board
including
appointments.
county attorney?
No,
Haven't done that.
that's on another document we
Well,
postponed.
I have a comment.
Okay, all right. Further discussion on the board appointments for 2020.
So it's only the board appointments?
That's correct, just this one 4-page document.
I'm good.
Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the board appointments for 2020 as presented and revised, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, pose nay. Motion carries. Give me just a second. And I will send those to you right now, so we don't lose track of that.
Feel about 5 minutes.
That would be appropriate for me since I'm trying to do some emails. By consent, we'll be in recess for 5 minutes.
You're good. I'll climb around. Thank you.
Me too, me too.
Hang on,
Take it easy.
rein it in.
I've seen you guys have gone all the way up to county. Oh, okay. Is there a service for that?
I think somebody comes up from
Also, yeah, okay. I haven't been that direction in such a long time. Yeah, exactly. Elliot, can you make that fire meeting tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, I got a bunch more emails. and
Yeah,
today, so-
no, sure. And I'll.
I think it was
talk to-
yesterday, but they sent me a bunch
I'll
to.
talk to Terry about giving me an agenda so I actually can follow it.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
Meetings in process.
Yeah, and a lot of those names, if you didn't,
Yeah,
they're all, they all came around, so.
yeah.
Make sure that you get that, but they all sent me saying something changed and that was.
Oh, something on the agenda for
No,
tonight?
something about the fire truck issue, so.
Oh, yeah, it seems like that's a, yeah.
I haven't heard anything specific, so maybe they came, maybe the board
Oh, well,
came to an agreement or something like that. don't know.
I can share some of the documents that Rob Klein.
But you had already shared a lot of them with me.
Yeah. mhm,
But it
yeah.
sounds like, I'm not sure if it's the homeowners or Rob Klein, but something changed.
Sounds like it, yeah.
And it's something
it was-
behind the scenes, it wasn't in this meeting or anything else that I've
Mhm.
seen.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that would be an interesting situation.
Lesson learned, don't take handouts from.
Yeah, private charity really isn't the answer.
Well, it can work as long as they just give it full,
Well,
you know, but it was a sort of private charity where he still wanted to kind of, it was a weird, it's been a
yeah,
weird deal.
it's an unorthodox.
Yeah, for sure.
Just put it that way.
So hopefully they've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be doing it again.
Oh, hey, let me pull you out into the hall
Yeah.
for a second here.
5 minutes.
Just wait for Jay to sit down.
What are you hanging around for?
Hope you're not taking a good one.
All right.
You are. Gotta make sure that
Take one of those.
I see those.
Shouldn't have any of them, but hopefully.
Good.
This is going a lot faster than I thought it would.
Kara yesterday, she guaranteed there was gonna be, there's enough of this. I'll grab a couple of these. I wanted the Mr. Good bars.
Let's see, reds.
She must be out of them, and I gave her a 20 spot yesterday to help fill it.
So
I
not
don't see
only
one.
is the bird feeder not full,
I swear I
it's
didn't see
gone.
mine.
Must be because you're tired of me saying it's not full.
Yeah, that's an Ivan thing, I don't know what's going on there.
Okay, Kelly, yeah, I got it.
I got it.
I need to lodge a formal complaint with Kara. I opened the Twix and it looks like the mice have been in it.
Or maybe,
I'm just gonna leave this.
maybe,
That's a Halloween Pete leftover.
maybe Vern started in on it, decided he didn't like it.
That one looks old and chewed up.
They found that on the floor of the candy factory and thought, let's put that, let's.
Send it in there.
In a pinch, I'd go ahead and eat it.
It will meet the weight requirements, huh?
Mice only chewed on one side as well.
And you know, Kelly, there's no way you and I'll remember, but, if we put that regional appointments at the bottom, then we would have gone through the trash and the newspaper bids. We wouldn't have to postpone it.
If we put this at the bottom,
At the bottom of the agenda, do it afterwards, but just don't let me forget to go back to that. Ooh, I'm worried about that. We good? Okay. Meeting will reconvene. Time is 10:40 a.m. So we will move on to the newspaper of record. We had postponed the regional appointments until after the opening of the bids. So with that, council, I would ask that you, we've already opened those bids.
Right.
That's correct, sorry.
Yeah.
We just need to act
just
on
need
that,
to act.
correct? Would you like to
Refresh our memory.
refresh our,
I don't have the bids
I was
there.
gonna-
oh, okay, all right, that's fine.
I mean, I remember the numbers, the
I was
basic.
gonna say, I can
numbers.
go back to, we can go back to the minutes, but, go ahead if you would, sir.
Well,
do you want me
bid-
to go get those bids?
I know the basic numbers, I think it was the same,
They were.
I mean, the Sentinel bid 13 cents a line.
They're in those 18 minutes.
Okay, give me just a second, sir, and we'll clean
Yeah.
that up.
I think that was the 18.
13 cents per line, if I didn't say that.
18th or 31st?
31st.
Yeah.
I got it right here.
The ones Jay was on top of and wanted to approve.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to go too fast. I have it.
Okay, yeah,
Looking
not
for
there.
the newspaper bids.
They're probably toward
Yeah.
the
Have them
end.
right here if you want them.
Yeah, right there. Yeah,
You got a conflict of
okay.
interest.
Page,
Even though you have-
I don't care.
Would you like me just to read that?
No difference to me.
yes, if you would, Commissioner Prince will read those.
What
Figures for-
what I'm reading is the unapproved minutes, but
Okay.
says legal publication bids. 2 bids were received for legal publications for 2020. County Attorney Clint Smith opened and read both bids. Sangre de Cristo Sentinel's bid was 13 cents per line for the first insertion and 12 cents per line for subsequent insertions for statutory publications, and 30 cents per line for non-statutory publications. The Wet Mountain Tribune's bid was 9 cents per line for statutory publications and 25 cents per line for non-statutory publications. The bid will be awarded during the January 8th BOCC meeting. That's today.
And you're in what set of minutes?
This is the December 31st minutes. Excuse me, I'm sorry, yes, December 31st.
No wonder I clicked on the wrong set of minutes, that's why I couldn't come up with it. All right, thank you, sir, appreciate that. Group's pleasure?
I move that we accept the Tribune's bid for the, what is it called, the job for the public.
Publication.
Legal
publication,
publication, yeah.
I'll
As
second that.
presented.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the bid from Wet Mountain Tribune newspaper for the publication of record for the county. Discussion? Public comment? Go ahead,
I
sir.
just say that I appreciate both papers, because even if they're not the publication of record, both of them do put our information in, and I appreciate that.
Good.
Yeah, I wanna say one other thing too.
Go ahead.
I noticed that the Sentinel has in the past, when they didn't have it, still published a lot of things on their own nickel, and I appreciate them.
That's what I was just saying.
Yeah.
Well, it was all of it, I just wanted to make sure.
Okay.
that, recognizing it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Pass that along to George.
Okay, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of accepting Wet Mountain Tribune's bids for publication of record, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
Thanks, gentlemen. Real quick moment, if I may.
Go ahead.
Since that's passed. There was a law change in April. Quint will have to double check this with state statutes. But you're no longer required to publish agendas. It's no longer a statutory requirement. I think that starts maybe in January. I can't remember. The law got passed in the last legislative
Talking about
season.
BOCC agendas.
Any towns, whatever, so Westcliff's gonna stop sending theirs, they're gonna post it online, I think there are some requirements on that, but it's one of those things that,
There's
it's been
still a
tradition for
24
so long, you could've missed
Right.
it if you weren't paying attention.
So there's not a 24-hour requirement, or is
No,
I know
we
the
still have to
requirements
post.
are
24-hour
all the
requirement,
same,
but you
it's
gotta
just-
get it from
you don't-
somewhere else?
We don't have to post it
You don't
in
have to
legal
publish it,
publication.
but you have to post it all, that's the same, but you don't have to print it in the
In the,
newspaper.
in the,
That's
in the
change.
legal publication.
Quint can look up the change, I can't remember where it was found,
Yeah.
but that's an update on that, so it's up to you guys if you wanna still send it, but it's not a requirement.
Costs money.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Yeah, I sat in on a legislative hearing at CCI about that very thing, and CCI supported not publishing any of it,
Yeah.
any of the county records.
Yeah. Really?
That did not fly. The legislature said, you know what, we'll let the agendas go.
Every year, it actually, Hickenlooper vetoed it 2 years ago, made it to his desk to eliminate all publishing
All of it, yeah.
requirements in newspapers.
Yeah.
He vetoed it and he said, let's look at this when we have 90% broadband
Right.
on the thing. So probably what is gonna happen.
It's true,
over
that
time-
is an issue.
It is, and again, you know, there's the Colorado Press Association, which we're a member of, we actually run the entire legal publication for the entire state. So we send everything into the Colorado Press, they upload it, I can't remember the name of the website, but you can go by county,
I
township.
also think it's discriminatory against people that don't have the money to buy a computer or a broadband.
You
link.
can argue the same thing about the newspaper, though. people
Sure.
that don't
Well, for
do it.
50 cents is a lot cheaper than.
Well, I think we're $1 better.
Oh, it's at $1 now? Where have I been?
But the point is I every year this gets, it's already been on the floor, so at some point, this is probably, I don't think the fight's, you know, the
Right.
Colorado Press Association fights really hard on it, of course, but
Yeah.
I think at some point we're gonna have, where there won't be requirements for printing anymore. On that, so that's probably coming down the road.
Yeah.
But every year it gets discussed. Last year was kind of weird, it didn't even make it out of committee except
Right.
that one part.
Yeah, just the one part, so.
But 2 years ago, it made it to Hickenlooper's desk,
Yeah.
and he vetoed it, but he said, I'm fine with it as long as we have 90% broadband coverage.
Yeah,
So,
lobbied pretty hard. The Colorado Press lobbied against that for obvious reasons. So.
yeah, well,
Okay, thank you.
yeah, so it's just an update, and I think at some point it's gonna move
Okay, appreciate it.
online, so thanks, guys.
Yeah, you bet, thank you. Okay, we'll move on. Next item of business is the consideration of the trash service. We have 2 bids. I would ask council to open and read those. Yes, sir.
That's our service now.
P-Bar-O has all of it, I think.
I already
Oh, okay, I'm
opened
sorry.
them. Thanks.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
I did think so. And I do have 2 bids here. I opened them just prior to the start of the meeting. I haven't opened the envelopes, I haven't looked at either documents. First one I have is from P-Bar-O, the bid for 2020. This bid is dated January 1, 2020. P-Bar-O disposal bids to Custer County the following. 2-yard dumpster serviced one time per week, $67 per month for the courthouse. 2-yard dumpster serviced one time a week, $67 per month for road and bridge. An extra dump for either 2-yard, $16.75 per dump. 3-yard dumpster serviced one time per week, $104 per month for the sheriff's office. A 3-yard dumpster serviced 2 times per week, $171 per month for the sheriff's office. An extra dump at the sheriff's office, $26 per dump. Thank you for the opportunity to bid, and it says this bid excludes Wetmore. So separate bids for the courthouse, for road and bridge, and for the sheriff.
Okay, thank you,
Who does Wetmore? Do we know?
Pardon?
Who does Wetmore?
I have no idea what they
sir. It's a
do.
great question. I don't know.
Probably out of
We would have to be paying
Florence,
for
I
it
would
somewhere,
guess.
wouldn't we? I've never even heard of it.
Okay,
I'll follow up on that, 'cause that is a good question.
okay. And then the other bid I have is from Oak Disposal. This bid is dated January 6, 2020. Here is the bid for 2020 trash service. I will guarantee this price for 2 years. There is also a 20% discount for paying 1 year at a time. 2-yard dumpster emptied one time per week, $40 per month. If you have any questions, please let me know. Signed, Valerie Van Dusen, Director of Operations, Oak Disposal Services. So that's just the one number there.
All right, thank you,
And
sir.
it doesn't break it down as to courthouse, sheriff, or road and bridge.
Sign those. All right, what's your pleasure?
I move that we appoint Oak Disposal as the county's official refuse collector with a lower bid than its competition.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept Oak Disposal's bid. Discussion?
I would be curious to know on a special pickup that is not already
Like an extra?
extra, you know, if it's gonna be significantly higher than, I don't, and how often we would do that. I
Right.
mean, I would like to get a feel for what is the annual cost of either of them, and that way we can make a better comparison.
That's hard to tell.
I know that,
But
but
that's, what are you
Yeah,
proposing?
and for that reason, I'm not gonna support your motion. I just don't think it was we have an apple-to-apple comparison. I thought the same thing, but,
I did too. Do we wanna, how do we wanna do that?
well, we're gonna vote on it here after we get done discussion and have public comment.
seconded?
So, you did.
How did I do that? That phone got me sidetracked.
That's why we asked silence.
Yeah, I know. Okay,
Further discussion, yeah, that was my thought too.
that's right, I did, I remember.
I think I would like to withdraw my motion.
The second withdrawn,
Oh, withdraw it.
motion is withdrawn.
My suggestion would be, let us tell them what we want to bid. We'll write it out with a blank and let, so both of them have exactly the same what they're bidding on. And maybe the P-Bar-O to us is fine, but I think we need to have apples and apples. I agree with you. This is, I don't know what we're doing.
Well, let's, it's just sort of a discussion after the fact.
This is a discussion now.
The thought would be, if you multiplied it out, how does it stack up? Because I can't imagine P-Bar-O putting in one, well, who put the one bid in? It was for just the blanket one cost.
That was
Didn't
Oak.
consider, now,
There's Oak.
that was Oak, so they had to have considered all the dumpsters, I would think, in their bid. And if they didn't, then that's,
Oak was $17
yeah.
less, but is that for a 2-yard dumpster or 3-yard dumpster?
Well, that's what I mean,
And
It was 2 yard.
2 yards.
2-yard, okay, and if they needed a special pickup?
Right, how do they handle
much
it?
is
What's the
that?
cost gonna be for everything else?
And then how many special pickups do we have? I mean, if it's, twice a year, it's probably not significant. If it's every month, it probably could be. So we don't know the answer.
I'm gonna move we accept P. Barrow's bid as presented. Is there a second?
I'm gonna second it so I can understand your logic. if I
Thank you,
may.
thank you. It's been moved and seconded to accept P. Barrow's bid as presented. Discussion?
Could you
A
explain
couple
what you
things, I
thought?
guess. Obviously, P. Barrow's bid was more explanative.
Right.
Detailed.
That's primary reason. We do have, and we posted that we have the right to refuse any or all bids. We don't have to accept one. The other problem that I have here, Commissioner Prince, is that I'm gonna take exception to your suggestion that we reach back out, because now we've opened this can of worms. That bid has been published. P. Barrow's bid has been published. So I
Yeah,
don't
we
think it
can't
would be
redo it.
reasonable, fair, or equitable to reach back out to Oak Disposal and say, what do you mean?
Well,
That's,
I
That's
think
where
we
I'm
did
coming
the
from.
same thing last year, because I remember that there was one bid that did not have the 3-yard,
that's right.
the sheriff's office in there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have that in your bid last year, or did you?
Did.
Yeah, so I think Oak left that out last year too.
Then my concern would be, we have, if we vote with your motion, we're breaking a tradition that we've had where we went with the lowest bid.
correct.
So I think we need to do that, if that's what the pleasure is, then we need to do that
See, I
open-minded.
still have a question. How do we know it's the lowest bid?
Well, that's-
We don't-
that
We
was my
don't. See,
point.
that's the problem. If we multiply it out, and then we assume, we're gonna have to get the bidder to qualify at what they bid, on the one price does all, because it would have to include everything that, the other company bid on. That's our requirement. Didn't we post that? I mean, how did they, bid against it? What did
We asked for the bids for trash service. Obviously.
And they did their homework.
Oak's not aware, apparently, that we have a 3-yard dumpster, or he would bid it.
Well, I guess, I don't know.
I knew. I just,
See, to get it to clarify the bid, I don't know if that's legit or not, is it?
No, I think Chairman Flower is correct when he says,
Mhm.
we're not gonna reopen the bid.
Can't
No,
reopen,
I
we
was-
cannot go
That
back.
was not appropriate for me to say.
Because they know what I just wanna make sure they know what they're covering for that one price. If it was everything, period, all sizes, then we gotta decide whether do they have the equipment to handle it, and why
well,
didn't they
that's
bid?
not
right?
our, yeah.
So,
That's kind of a backwards question. If a month, 2, 3, 4, 5 down the road, we decide we're not satisfied, we can terminate one and hire the other, correct?
Mhm.
So I think that would be worthwhile then to go ahead and do the lower bid, which is what the county has traditionally done. And if we find that the extra pickups are way too high, or if the sheriff needs a 3-yard dumpster and the number goes from 40 to 150, or whatever the number is, we can look back and say, you know what? This is not what we want, we're gonna go back and, we can go back to P. Barrow and say, will you honor the bid that
okay,
you
all
gave?
right, so now, that's not a bad idea. The other piece to consider is, are they qualified? And does the bid, is there enough information for us to make a decision that says they're qualified, therefore we'll risk the low bid? I think Tom was where, in that boat where they probably aren't.
I don't know, I think they both are qualified.
If that's the case, then the low bid gets it.
Okay, further discussion? Public comment?
Donna
Go ahead.
might know how many extra pickups were called for.
I don't know how that billing would go, whether we just get a statement from them or they line item out the extra pickups, I don't know that.
Can I make a comment?
You may, this needs to go to Jackie.
So the oak disposal bid doesn't even have a 3-yard.
No,
So
that's
That's right.
how do you know how much
That's
they're
what
gonna
that's why I was at.
charge you
making the
for
point.
a 3-yard?
right. Yeah, I view that kind of as an incomplete bid based on our needs.
Which
I mean,
implies
we've
to me
got-
they're not qualified because they screwed up the bid and therefore you have one bid
That's
that's
an excellent
legit.
point, because they could have done their due diligence and said, well, what are your requirements? How often do you need it picked up? What size do you need? And then bid accordingly. So I think your point's very well taken, that they have presented an incomplete bid.
Well, I'll tell you, their bid for 2 yards quite a bit lower. And so
That's
it
my
makes you wonder,
point.
and that, what, so
You know, that's a tough one,
that's
because.
why I think they oughta, do
No,
they know what they
can't
bid
ask-
on?
Okay, further
So
public comment?
What's the motion?
The motion is to accept P-Bar-O's bid as presented. Further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. P-Bar-O will be awarded the trash services bid. Next item of business is going back now to
And
the
let's make it
postponed.
clear, maybe I should have done it during the motion, but that, I think that we had an incomplete bid, and so therefore we had the choice.
And that's-
That's the way it is, I'm not saying.
If you'd
that
like
they
me to
weren't
put on the
qualified.
record why I voted yes, even though I
No.
motioned the other way originally, is because you are correct, both of you. It was an incomplete bid, they didn't do their due diligence.
Right, so we
And I feel
acted on
that-
what we had.
You should not get a bid. We'd be throwing darts at a blank dartboard,
Right.
because we don't know what the other fees would be. So thank you for letting me put that on the
You bet.
record.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. So we'll go back to the postponed item of business, regional appointments. If you can pull that doc, gentlemen.
Move that we
Finding
approve.
it would be a challenge. Sorry, go ahead, sir.
So I was just gonna say, I move that we approve the Custer County government appointments for 2020 as presented, with the inclusion of trash services awarded to P-Bar-O.
I'll second it. Been moved and,
I'll second it, did you already move it?
I seconded it. We'll get to discussion. I may ask you to withdraw that motion. It's been moved and seconded to approve the county government appointments with the inclusion of the trash company. Discussion. I also think we need to include the legal publication.
Yeah.
It's in,
Did you say that?
I didn't feel I needed
Oh,
to,
okay.
because it's in, I said as
Okay.
presented.
Okay.
With the addition, but the only one that wasn't.
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
but the public record didn't know it was already
Yeah, that's
on
true.
that, so let's go ahead and say it.
Okay, then I'll modify my motion to say, including awarding the bid for publications to Web Mountain Tribune and awarding the trash service to P-Bar-O.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're right. It is in there. There's no question about that.
So you, second is.
I did, yes.
Okay.
A discussion?
Is this? where
Yes,
we're
it is, sir.
voting in?
This
Okay.
is where you come into play.
All right, because, well,
Did we misspell your name?
no, I just want to say that I've been a licensed attorney since 1971, so I'm entering into my 49th year now as a licensed attorney. In fact, they didn't even do the formal attorney registration, they didn't start that till 1975, and they assigned numbers. Now, I mean, they're up to over 50,000, I guess, I haven't checked numbers recently, but I have number 2508. Nobody's ever asked to see in all those 49 years, I want you to know.
You are certifiable.
I am a licensed attorney since
Oh, my God.
1971,
Wow.
so I just I fished that out and brought.
2508. Yeah.
And my numbers, and that was just depending because they said, okay, all attorneys have to register now. And I worked for the district attorney at that time, so the DA sent in all of our names together. If you'd done it promptly, I know a lot of attorneys, they had 2-digit numbers.
50,
You know,
60.
yeah, I got 2508, and the original number one was who was ever the Chief Justice of the Colorado Supreme Court was at the time. They got the first numbers, and then the Court of Appeals, and then it went to the peons. So I just wanted to say,
Wow.
I am a
Very good.
licensed attorney.
So we possibly could be voting to approve a licensed attorney, is that?
Yeah, I mean, just you've kind of taken this on faith. Nobody has ever asked to see it.
And you said 1971,
71.
you can choose not to participate, but it'd be interesting for us to divulge what we were doing in 1971. I
Finishing
was
up
a-
elementary school.
I was a junior in high school in Alliance, Nebraska.
Okay.
I was a junior in college.
71, I
Where at?
was a sophomore
Oh,
in college.
I was 6 years old.
1971?
Or was it 70? 71, yeah.
I believe you and I are pretty close in age.
Mhm. Yeah, we
I
are.
was a junior in high school.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Oh, I was in college, sophomore in college.
Wow.
So it's still pretty close.
So 5 or 6 years older than I am? I don't
Hard to
believe it.
believe, huh?
What year were you born?
50.
Oh, you darn. Okay. Well, all right, sir, thank you, appreciate that. Okay, further discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote on the county government appointments as presented and revised. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. Motion carries. I apologize, I forgot to ask for public comment. If you have any, we'd certainly listen to them.
I was a sophomore in high school.
You're just a spring chick.
Okay. So that being said, gentlemen, I've got an email waiting to send to you. I will include this document on that, so if you give me just a second.
Really a spring chick. You sent an email for what?
I have not. I'm getting ready to send this email with these updated documents.
Thank you.
Kelly, I've included you, Clint, and,
Did you do the point of contacts?
no, sorry, I'll
I
hold
don't
back,
have a list
thank you.
for that.
It's around.
Great point, let me. Gosh darn it. So I've got, as a point of contact, I will send that as well. I can read through those. Do you gentlemen have them?
I did, yeah, I don't.
Okay. So Commissioner Prince, useful public service, attainable housing, planning and zoning, human services, public health, West Custer County Board, and West Custer, Wetmore Community Center Board and Wetmore Library Board, Human Services and Human Resource and Tourism. Commissioner Kanda, Emergency Management Office, Road and Bridge, Landfill Recycling, Veteran Service and Airport. Commissioner Flower, Integrated Technology, Custodial, Grounds and Maintenance, Building Resource Center Annex, Extension, Upper Arc. And then we were all three point of contacts for the Justice Center. Comments, questions, changes?
The other comment I have is landfill and recycling is the recycling part that the landfill does.
Correct, not,
I've been
Not
part of
your,
the recycling. Yeah, okay. Just wanted
That's
to
just
clarify.
Yeah.
the plant out there.
I'm good.
yeah.
They have no issues. I think that all sounds fine.
It's, we're not talking about high country recycling.
Correct.
Yeah. Any changes, gentlemen, you desire?
No, sir.
No.
Board's pleasure?
What's the, you got all the other things we've talked about, like weed board and stuff, that's all separate.
Yeah, you know, that's a good point.
We got the other things like the roads and byways and all that stuff, but how do you?
I wonder
how
if
do you
weeds
put
should
that
be
out?
on here.
I think they all ought to be on there as, that, where is the guy that's focused on weeds, or the fair board, is it on there?
No.
See, all that would be useful as a commissioner, so people that have a question go to the right guy first. Because it's just a public record of what we're covering.
Good point, I'm thinking about that.
We can discuss that later, but I think,
I think
it's a
we could
good thing.
cover the weed board and extension and, well, not necessarily extension, the weed board and the fair board
Fair
with an
board.
agricultural
Sure,
topic.
you could do
but-
that. But see, if you're, put yourself in a stranger's boots, he comes to Custer County and he wants to find out who's got the scenic byways, cause he sees the trails, or trails and whatever that's going on. Who can you go to and click on somebody to find out who can point him in the right direction?
This is on our website, because I've seen it before.
This is,
Yeah,
and so,
they can walk in and say, Miss Kara, who do I talk to
we
with
have a
this
separate
issue?
list, on the other kinds of things.
Yeah, I guess
Depends on how we put it on the
tourism
website.
isn't any different than the fair board. I mean, they're an organization that operates under our umbrella.
That's right.
I agree.
Weed board, same thing. Maybe we add both of those. I never thought about that.
See, the airport's on there, isn't it?
Mhm.
So I would think you would have anything that we are a point of
Yeah.
contact for on
Yeah,
this.
and I'm sure this is a list that's been passed year to year. I don't know, I looked to Miss Kelly,
Before
but
I got here.
I don't have a problem being the point of contact for the weed board and the fair board, but if you gentlemen feel otherwise, speak
I
up.
think it's
I'm
fair,
fine with
that's
it.
what you're doing. And then if there's somebody got an issue, then you're the guy that's gonna
Right.
not solve it, but help get them to us to make a
You
decision.
will have the open ear to whatever the
Right.
issue is.
Yeah.
And you've been
about that.
involved in it, so it's easier to understand and catching you or me off guard,
Right.
and saying, what are you gonna do? And all we'd say is go see Tom.
So then that also,
We could do is have Kara just go back through what we just did, come back and put things on there where they might make sense and let us talk
That's
about
what
it.
we've done in the past, when we had the squares with all the different boards. On the left-hand side, not the appointments, the
Yeah.
point of contact for each
For each
one.
one of those,
Yeah,
We
yeah,
had
that's
that
right.
right
That's-
there in the past.
Yeah,
so I'm
That's a
looking
good
back
thing to
up
do.
to Commissioner Prince's, West Custer County Board, that really should say Library Board.
Absolutely, it should.
Somebody not knowing that would go,
what's that?
what board? I don't know what board that is. Can you think of any others, Kel, that we're missing? I mean, Kids Council, it could just go on and on and on,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna say.
we don't really, well, yeah, we're the financial fiscal
I-
agent for Kids Council.
I go to, Kids Council, the problem is it's the same day as Upper Arkansas meetings.
Right.
I try my best to get to Kids Council, because I always felt that was part of my purview. Doesn't need to be, but I like to support them.
I don't have a problem putting that on there as well, but, because it's somebody called, other than signing the invoices, which I do. What about Kids Council? Commissioner Prince is pretty much,
I
the
think it
go-to
makes sense.
person
I
on
think
that.
anything that we are, either get grants for them, or we are responsible for their payroll, or anything, I think we probably ought to list a point of contact, just so the public knows who to go to.
Right. Let me see what that, you guys will think this is hokey, but what their actual name is. Give me just a second and I'll look at that. I think it is, but they, and maybe that's the state that I'm thinking about.
Well,
Yeah, Custer County Kids Council. So let's add that then, if that's all right, by consent, gentlemen. Because I think Commissioner Candy is right. It just adds a lot of clarity.
I agree.
Do we want to put the attorney in charge of anything?
I don't
He's
think so.
qualified.
Well, he is, cause he's got a card, he's a card
Y'all
carrying
don't even
member.
have a card,
He's a
Well, we got a certificate.
Or a number.
but his is.
He's
He
a
has a
membership
card.
card
He's a
and
card-carrying
plastic.
member of the Colorado Bar Association.
No, I don't belong to the
Oh, you don't?
Colorado Bar Association.
Colorado Bar.
I belong
Bill,
to the
anything in
Pueblo
your,
County Bar Association.
you wanna add, scenic byways?
Yeah. And there's Action 22, you know.
Yeah, we all three
That's
are on
on
Yeah,
that.
but I'm the board dude.
Oh, yeah.
And I've been on the film commission longer than you, Mr.
That's on that one list though.
Yeah.
Commissioner, so if there's an
So
opening,
it's
I
scenic
want the
byway.
job.
Okay.
Scenic byways
You want
was-
film
I
commission?
want the role.
Oh, you want the role?
These are-
Do you wanna
these
do
are
any of the
town
I
work?
want to be against Catherine Hepburn or
Okay.
whoever the latest.
Do you wanna do any of the work and go to any of the meetings?
So maybe we should
Oh,
make it, well,
okay.
I just want
Then
the
I'm
money.
not
then we'll
gonna
have,
put you on
he'll
that.
be double
It's okay,
duty.
because somebody in Action 22 does, they go to the website for Custer County.
Yeah, I
says
don't
on
think we
our
wanna
guy.
recreate that whole list, but
No,
these are
but
things that people.
She brings up a good point, like, you know, even though there's some extra county things, like Upper Ark's a good example, that's out of the county, but it includes the county business. Action 22 is similar, and if there's somebody out there in Action 22 land that wants to know, who's on that board and what is Custer County, it's nice to know who's representing that as a focus for us.
Okay.
But
Like, like the other things.
a lot of us within the county use this county contact list to say who's,
Right, sure.
who's
Who's
in
the mail
charge.
go
That's
to?
okay.
or-
Yeah,
So
like
maybe
the
you
road
need
and
to
bridge,
have,
that's
if
okay.
you wanna have a separate list.
You could have a
then you
separate
don't
column
have
under it that says, other,
Other contacts.
others, you know, you could do it that way to keep it simple. In the same, it's just a way it presented on the website. And even you guys, you know, Action 22 may call the clerk's office up, say, who's the Action 22 guy?
Get that all on one page.
And then I send it to Kara.
Yeah, and then Karen needs to know who the list is.
Well, I would move we accept the BOCC point of contact as presented
I'll second.
and revised. Seconded to accept the point of contact list.
And then let's,
Discussion,
the
Further
discussion might
discussion?
include, getting it updated on the website and then working to get the right things in as the other columns.
okay.
Right, I believe we have normally all of the contacts for the committees are on the website.
Mhm.
I think that's only appropriate.
Okay.
Yeah, I kinda look at this maybe as a living document as well, to say, hey,
Sure.
let's,
Right, it's not the only
yeah, it
thing.
doesn't need to be stagnant.
So let's, let that happen and we'll get Kara to help modify it with Vern to get it on the website.
Did I get a second to that motion? I think I did, didn't I?
Yes.
You did.
Further discussion, public comment? Hearing none, proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I will add that to the email as well, going out to. Do you want to be included on that, Ms. Bubis?
Please,
Because you're gonna ask for it eventually, right?
well, Kara was gonna send it, I don't care who sends it.
Email
Yep, Jack's Bubis at Gmail.
at Gmail? Yeah, okay, all right. Done. Okay. Any further new business to come before the group? I'm kind of freaking out a little.
Just go with it.
I know, don't
Don't muddy the
prolong it,
waters.
that's right. Public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Have one from Meredith Nichols for the OEM. She said the public comment period for the PILT funding project for the Corno Verde has passed and OEM will continue with the RFP process.
Okay, yeah, that was, I don't remember the exact day we posted that, but it was late November, early December.
It ended like the 6th or 7th or something.
Okay. Yes.
Before we adjourn.
Yep.
Tonight, the Wet Mountain Fire Protection District is having a meeting at 6 o'clock. They're gonna talk about the fire truck at Corno Verde. If you have an
That's right,
interest, I just want to remind you that
Yep,
that's available. if you
6
wanna
at
go.
the
It's at the firehouse.
firehouse.
Yeah,
yeah, I've got that on my calendar, thank you.
I do too.
Anything else for the good of the order before we adjourn?
I've got one thing
Go ahead, sir.
based on what Jordan was talking about, House Bill 19-1087, Colorado House Bill, which was one that was effective August 2 of last year. I'll just summarize this, but it says, the current law requires local governments to post notices of public meetings in physical locations. This act that's now in effect allows local governments to post notices just on the local government's website. This actually has nothing to do with the legal publications.
Okay.
Because
Just
there was
post
never
it.
required to post notices of meetings in the newspaper, just post them in 3 different places in the county. But that's eliminated, and now they're saying that it can be done by just posting the notices of the meeting and the agenda on a website. But I think you're still allowed, you certainly can go ahead and post them the way you've been doing.
1086 was the bill number?
19-1087.
87. Okay. Interesting. Well, hard to break old habits. But if we don't have to post that in the paper, we'd save the county some money.
Yeah, that isn't required to be in the paper. It wasn't under the old law, it was customary to always send the notice with the agenda.
So they charge us for the line, so
Sure.
it will be cheaper.
Yeah, and I counted up this morning, including the budget hearings, we have 55 meetings, 2020.
I want to raise.
Okay, you get one to be patient.
See, 50,
I got it reelected
gotta
first.
get elected, don't count your eggs.
So, you know, that agenda, let's say, well, I don't know, there's probably 25 lines.
How does it present? Is it condensed in the paper, so it's
Well, the
column
font-
space is X, so how many inches?
Actually, the statutory requirements on the size type that you need to put.
Right.
Right.
So how do they do it?
I think it appears pretty much the way,
Just have it.
Just
it's done.
that big, it's not that big in the paper.
Well, but it doesn't matter,
I
it's the
mean, as
number of
far as the
lines.
That's what I mean, so it shrinks down, but let's say
So-
25. 67 cents times
There.
25.
It
is
seems
30.
to
There's
me
the BOCC
it's such
agenda,
a nominal expense. I
Where
would
is it?
prefer to continue it.
Where is it?
right here.
Oh, there it is.
So it's that
Geez,
number of
that's long.
lines
See, that's
times,
That's,
I wouldn't call
that's a
that a
half a
novel
page of lines,
expense.
that's 8
times
inches.
55.
How many, so times 55.
I bet it's $1,000.
Okay.
I don't know,
I'm just gonna say,
I think it should be published, I like it in the paper.
I like it published, whether we put it in the paper, but that's what people are used to going to look for it, I believe.
I do too.
I bet she knows how much we
I
spend per
really
year.
want people to know what we're gonna discuss, if they wanna come talk about
You
it.
know
they're
roughly
welcome
what
to.
the newspaper charges per year, is it thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars
Hundreds now,
per year?
per year.
With the posting the agenda,
They're pretty cheap.
Cheap.
It used to be, it would average about 300 to 500 a month when you average in like the treasurer's big gigantic one, but since we've been bidding it out and stuff, it's been a lot cheaper.
yeah, I'm not saying we need to change anything, I just brought it up for discussion. The people that are interested are probably gonna go to the 2 papers, generally speaking, before they go to the website to see our agenda, but that's just my opinion.
Every time I try to go to the website, it says update.
You're doing something wrong.
Anything else, gentlemen,
I hate it.
for the good of the order?
Not for me,
Miss
no.
Donna, you have something, or after?
Aye.
Okay. All right, hearing no further business, the chair will declare the meeting adjourned. Let the record show it is 11:23.
Man, I had good timing.
Yeah. So you were a little uncomfortable with